Today's video is sponsored by Minimal Case. Now it's that time of year where all of the newest phones have just been released. We have the release of all the new iPhones, the new Pixel lineup, and if you're like me, you probably pick a phone based off of its design. And the last thing that I want to do is cover it up with some huge bulky case, and that's where Minimal Case comes in. Their case designs are made to give you protection against scratches and light drops while still allowing you to enjoy the design of the phone itself. If you go to their site, you can see they're available in more natural type colors. You have frosted black, frosted white, you have matte options, and you even have clear cases available as well. Now, if you are interested in buying any of their cases, make sure to use the code Gamesky where you can save 25%. And again, I'd like to thank Minimal Case for sponsoring today's video. Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out the brand new Skullcandy Indy ANC. Now this is the brand new active noise canceling earbuds from Skullcandy, and they come in retailing at $130. So this is the first pair of earbuds that Skullcandy has released that has active noise canceling, so I was definitely curious to see how well they could do with that. We'll check out some of the other features, what you get inside the box, and see if it's worth the $130 price tag. Now the first thing that I want to point out about these is they do work with Skullcandy's app, which allows you to use some pre-built EQ settings, and it also does kind of like a hearing test to set up a personal sound that it thinks you're going to like. And I will say that the app is definitely what saves these earbuds. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about the sound. Now they also work with the Tile app, which allows you to locate your earbuds if you've lost them or just misplaced them somewhere in the house or even outside of the house. And that is definitely a feature that I like, and that's in most of the newer Skullcandy products. Now, as far as some of the other features, they have 12mm drivers, they're using Bluetooth 5.0, and they also have AAC and SBC playback. Now, as far as dropouts, I didn't experience any with these earbuds. I also didn't have any lag with movies or videos, but I did experience lag while using these with gaming. So if your main purpose is to use these with gaming, I don't recommend them for that. Now, as far as the IP rating on these, they come in rated at IPX4. Now, that seems to be about the standard when it comes to noise canceling. So they're going to be fine against rain and splashes, but this is still not a pair that you could submerge into water. Now, as far as what you're getting inside the box, they've included the small, medium, and large silicone ear tips, but they've also included a pair of small and large wing tips as well. So again, if you're going to be using these out and about, this does a very good job of keeping them secure in your ear, and then that way you don't have to worry about them falling out. Now, as far as the charging cable they've included a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life is actually pretty decent. Now, if you're going to use these with the noise canceling turned off, you're going to get around 9 hours on the earbuds themselves, with around 32 hours total using the case. Now, with the noise canceling turned on, you're only going to get around 5 hours on the earbud, with around 19 hours using the case. So there's definitely a huge gap in the battery life if you're going to use these with the noise canceling on or off. Now, if you do happen to pick these up and they are dead, it does have the fast charge feature where a quick 10-minute charge will get you 2 hours of use. And another huge bonus about this pair is the case is also a Qi wireless charging case. So you could just come in, drop this case on a wireless charger, and it'll start charging. Now, moving over to looking at the case, I really like the design of it. I think it's very well built. You can see the Skullcandy logo on the front. On the bottom, you can see your USB-C input for charging. And then around on the front, you have your indicator lights so that you can gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds, like I said earlier, these are the stem style design, and I feel like the stem is a little long on these. I think it's closer to looking like the original AirPods, when I wish the design was a little closer to the AirPods Pro that has the shorter stem. Now, as far as the controls on here, they do use touch controls, and I'm happy to say that they control everything. So you have your play, your pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and even volume control all on the earbuds themselves. And then another thing that you can control is you can turn your noise canceling on, you can turn the noise canceling off, and then you can also switch it into ambient mode. And the ambient mode in the Indies are doing a very good job of picking up your surroundings. And what that's doing is it is allowing you to hear traffic or hear if somebody comes up to talk to you, and that way you can carry on a conversation without actually taking the earbuds out. Now, as far as the noise canceling on here, I think they did a very good job with this as well. I was really surprised. I didn't know what to expect when it came to Skullcandy having active noise canceling in a pair of earbuds. Now, if I'm going to compare it to the Sony or the Bose, which I think are the top when it comes to noise canceling, I'd say those block out around 90 to 95%. I would put the Skullcandy's blocking out around 65 to 70%. So they do a very good job of blocking out lower tones like engine noises, or if you're on a plane, even that engine. But it's also doing a pretty good job with blocking out higher tones as well. So people talking and horns, you're still going to hear a little bit of that, but you can tell that it is still trying to block some of that out. Now, for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. And then another thing that I think they did a very good job with is the microphones. So if one of your reasons for buying a pair of earbuds is to use them for phone calls, I think you'll be very pleased with the way that the mics pick up your voice. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the Indy ANC. Like I said, I think it does a very good job of picking up my voice, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now before we talk about the sound, this is the part of the video where I like to play some sound samples. That way you guys can hear some of the characteristics of the earbuds itself. So let's go ahead and check out some sound samples from the earbuds here.
Cause baby, I got problems in me. Sometimes it gets hard for me to tell you how I feel. I'm afraid to show you what's underneath, cause I don't wanna let you down.
So now that you guys have heard some samples, I want to say that you heard the sound samples that had the hearing profile on them that Skullcandy's app set up for me. And that's important because the sound of these out of the box was awful. It was bloated, it was bass heavy, it was muddy, it was congested. The mids and the highs just sounded like they were behind a wall. It just wasn't enjoyable no matter what genre I tried them on. But once I went through, and like I said, within Skullcandy's app, you have some pre-built EQ options. It has it on music mode by default, but you have a podcast mode, and you also have a movie mode, which is my favorite. I think it pulls the dialogue and the vocals out a little bit better. It's still bloated on the bass end, but what really saved it was going through the hearing test and allowing Skullcandy's app to set up that hearing profile. That definitely pulled the treble up, it pushed the mids forward a little bit, and it tightened up the bass to where it wasn't as sloppy as it was out of the box. It's still a dynamic sound overall. This is nowhere near flat. You're going to get punchy bass no matter what genre you're listening to. The treble, though, in the hearing profile definitely stood out more. Vocalists stood out more, and I had no issue with any genres once I set that up. Now, as far as the soundstage and the sound imaging, this is not a very open sounding earbud. The hearing profile, like I said, definitely saved it. If you were to just listen to them out of the box, it would feel like you were in a box and you would have no ability to tell where anything's coming from. But after the hearing profile, it made me feel like I was in a medium-sized room, and it did a much better job with me being able to hear where things were coming from. But outside of that, I think the sound was pretty good overall. Now, I will say that the $130 price tag, in my opinion, is a little steep on these. I feel like the noise canceling is good. I think you're getting pretty good battery life. You are getting a case that is a Qi wireless charging case, and you're getting some pretty dynamic sound overall, as long as the hearing profile fixes the earbuds for you. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Skullcandy Indy ANC. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.